All right, folks, it is comment answering time again. And unfortunately, the pollen count's a little high for me today, so we're going to do this indoors so I don't have a giant allergy attack on camera. Although I actually just had one inside in this room right before I started recording this, so don't know how this is going to go. But anyway, we're just going to jump right in on the suggestions this week. We've got You Should Check When I'm a Fool live at Sunset Sound with Shooter Jennings. This is Avi Kaplan. I intend to do that. Appreciate that suggestion. I definitely want to check that out. I am familiar with Shooter Jennings, so that's going to be an interesting collaboration. I think he did multiple songs with that, I believe. Marsha Young, that was from Pepino Sylvie. Marsha Young, a regular viewer, says Do Valhalla Calling. Yeah, that looks like that's going to win our next Patreon poll. We're selecting pretty much all of our songs now through Patreon polls, and that's what's currently leading on the VoicePlay poll, and I expect that to win, and we'll have that up in a couple of weeks, I hope. Victoria Stott says try Avi, Sage, and Stone. I think I said this on the 2 Avi videos we put out. I did the entire EP, and that's on Patreon, so I've already listened to it, and yeah, it was excellent. Veronica Thunder, regular viewer, love Veronica. Veronica says it would be fun to see you react to VoicePlay's version of Eleanor Rigby. All right, yeah. Since you're a Beatles fan, yeah, absolutely. I didn't know that they had done Eleanor Rigby. This is the first time hearing this. That's great. I really have no clue what you'll think of it because it's quite different from the original. Interesting. It's the only one I think that's been arranged only by Ellie. Ellie has arranged some other songs together with one of the other guys, though. Example, Carry On Wayward Son and Queen in 5 Minutes. Eleanor Rigby is one of the lesser viewed VoicePlay songs, so it may not get as many views, but it would be so nice to hear your thoughts. I may actually stick that one on the next poll. I don't know if it's going to win or not, but I'll put it on there because I definitely want to react to it. Patricia McLaughlin says, this is Home Free. I wouldn't recommend Unchained Melody, which has rather strange, heavy arrangement and far more doo-wop than is healthy and is appropriate to the melody. I actually already did Unchained Melody. That was like the third one that I've done, and I actually loved it. It was one of my favorites, and I hope we're actually going to get that back up pretty soon. Austin's version on his channel is outstanding. I've already done that one as well. Has been viral since it was released now at just under 13 million views. You might want to look back at the recent Save the World or one of my favorites, Working for a Living. Okay, I appreciate that. And I've already done both those Unchained Melodies. I thought they were both great. I actually preferred, though, I think the home free version on that. Caitlin Kavanaugh suggests Acrompella by VoicePlay, as does Kimberly Harvey and Music Loving Nurse. Okay, we'll put that on a poll. Alex Walker says check out their version of Elvira. Okay, that is really interesting because Elvira is actually the home free version of Elvira, which I was told was co-arranged by Jeff, or the arrangement was helped out by Jeff, is actually ahead on our home free poll right now. But I'll definitely at some point check out the VoicePlay. I plan to anyway. Jill Peterson says another one you should check out is where Paul, their sound engineer, stepped in because Tony got stuck in an airport and couldn't make the show. Very interesting. This is on a version of Chicken Song, I believe. Poor Ellie fell to the ground laughing. Jeff told Tony that he looked great. Okay. Kimberly Harvey, says another double feature with Tony and Mike Sardou will be Grim Grim Ghost. Yeah, that one's already up, actually, so go check that out. They had both a live version, filmed their hotel room tour, and full production. The one I did was the full production, and it was a double feature with another Halloween-themed song. We did that back last October. Marsha Young says, let's see, the Chicken Song was awesome, so funny. Lane wrote the music and lyrics to Stuck in Traffic, and it is even funnier than Road Trip. Interesting, okay. Ellie wrote the music and lyrics to Lightbulb, performed by VoicePlay, a 1-minute musical. Also, Jeff wrote the music and lyrics to Miley Cyrus, performed by VoicePlay, also a 1-minute musical. Interesting. I'd like to hear some original stuff from VoicePlay because I have not heard any original compositions. It is hilarious. You can find Lightbulb and Miley Cyrus and Traffic Stop on their channel. Please do react to them. You will love them. Not many people love them. That's why they aren't requested. Gotcha. I'll definitely add those to a poll at some point. I'm not sure if it'll be a upcoming poll, but at some point I hope to get to all of these. Okay, on Avi Fields and Pier, and also I apologize if sometimes I pronounce his name Avi. That's the first time I ever saw it spelled. That was what I went to. So if I say that at any point, my apologies. Avi Fields and Pier, 5th generation Texan, says, my favorite reactions are those of singer-songwriters like yourself. Thank you, I appreciate that. You hear things that I wouldn't normally pick up, and it helps expand my knowledge of music. Thank you for your reactions, my favorite artist. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your kind words. Lori Toigo, is that an I or a J? Can't really tell there. Avi's music, if you play it, they will come. Absolutely. Kathy Boyce says, Avi will give you the unexpected every time. Great reaction. More Avi, please. Thank you, Kathy, and I hope to have some more Avi up soon. I plan on listening to everything, all of his solo catalog, everything he's got out. I just don't know when I'm going to get to it. Debbie Harden says, after Avi went solo, we all got to see his incredible range that wasn't shown on Pentatonics. He surprises us every day with his talent. Thanks to this reaction. Thank you for watching, and yeah, I agree completely. All right, old reaction. This is Mark Martel, Bohemian Rhapsody. Swin Artman says, great reaction. Greetings from Germany. Thank you, Swin. I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear from you across the water there. And I've got a whole host of copyright comments here that are the person that compiles this for us has put in a separate section. Annette Corrado, Annette, great viewer of the channel, also a patron. Thanks for reaching out and interacting with us again. I really enjoy and appreciate your weekly sessions with us. I don't mind your pauses or thank you pause too much at all. I subscribe and I'm one of your patrons because I like your reactions. I like your pauses for comments and input that you offer. Some reactors are ridiculous and pause too frequently with inappropriate behavior or comments that are not what I enjoy in reaction channel. Thank you, Annette. I appreciate that. And thanks so much for all the support you have shown us and the channel. Shurkan says, those reactors that don't stop are getting copyright claims on the videos. They just don't care. They aren't making their money there. Commenters don't always understand this. Those commenters also don't understand the difference between blocking and copyright. Gotcha. Yeah, and that's what I felt like. And I said that in thinking one of the videos that I wasn't sure why some don't stop if they just, they don't monetize their channel, so they don't care. Pam Forrester, another great viewer of the channel, says, this was fun. I'm now understanding the copywriting problem is a major pain. Thank you for filling us in. I love the videos, hoping you continue them and continue growing this channel. I always love reading all the comments. This is a good community. Thank you, Pam. I appreciate it. And that community is good in part thanks to you and all of our regular viewers who interact on the channel. Veronica Thunder, or Veronica again, said, I didn't mean that VoicePlay videos get entirely blocked, only that I've heard reactors say that it got stuck and they couldn't release it when they wanted to. I thought that was the same thing as blocked. Sorry, I have neither the knowledge or the vocabulary for those things. Other reactors, on the other hand, can release their reactions on the same day as the song premieres. I've been wondering why this is different for different reactors. Can it be depending on where you live? I listen to reactors from England, Australia, South Africa, Canada, and the USA. As far as, I can't speak to other reactors, but I do know a lot of reactors will try to get up same day. I know for a fact that anybody who gets their reaction up the same day that the song is released, that it does have a copyright claim on there. There's no way around that. But again, like we just talked about in a previous comment here, some reactors don't have their videos monetized, so it doesn't matter whether they've got restrictions on their content or not. The reason that I don't get our videos out the same day is because I'm not doing this full time. It would be great if I could. That'd be excellent. But these reaction videos are just literally like 10th thing on the list for me. So I try to record when I can in advance. Right now I'm shooting 3 days a week, usually in the mornings, trying to get multiple videos done and edited and out there. And as of late, I have been on our non-VoicePlay videos. I have been usually putting them up at least, like right now we're over 30 days ahead because I'm trying to give plenty of time for those copyright issues to clear, so when the videos come out we won't have restrictions on there, or we won't get demonetized and all that kind of stuff. So I can't speak to other reactors, but that's what we're doing here. I hope that made sense. Grace Parker, another regular viewer of the channel, says, I was so surprised to hear you mention my comment. I'm still on your side on this. You're right. Copyright laws need to be changed. Today's videos are getting way more traffic than they used to because of reactors like you. As far as I'm concerned, they should appreciate that is how their music is being shared and spread so that they continue to grow their fan base as well. Still love your channel and thanks. Keep up the great reaction commentary. Grace, thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's 100% true that the videos are getting way more traffic than they used to, and that's why something's got to change here. Copyright laws have to change. The YouTube algorithms are going to have to change. The way content managers work are going to have to change. And the thing about it is most independent musicians and artists understand that these reaction videos are exposure, and a lot of people discover them from the reaction videos, and that's why they're so cool about releasing it. But there's other larger artists, there's other big conglomerates that have not been so good about that. And then there's also the content managers for these smaller artists that don't necessarily release stuff right off, and you have to go through all these processes and stuff. But yeah, I think most independent artists understand this, and they're trying to make sure, like VoicePlay and Home Free, they don't want reactors to get their stuff taken down. And Home Free's current manager, The Orchard, I've talked about that at length, that we've had problems with them, and Home Free doesn't know anything about it. I think they've been notified now. But what I've learned about The Orchard, I'm not even sure if The Orchard was blocking Home Free stuff. A person in The Orchard was blocking our Home Free stuff, or not blocking, but demonetizing our Home Free stuff, rejecting our claim on Home Free stuff. I think it may have actually been a bot, and they're just programmed to automatically reject. And then when you appeal, a human will actually look at it and release it, because once we start appealing, that's been our experience. Ellen Reiser, another great viewer of the channel and patron, says, I watched to the end. I guess that makes me nobody. No, Ellen, you're not nobody, but that was a really funny comment. That was great. Carol Burnett, another great viewer of the channel, says, I just proved you to be lying. I watched all the way through. I think these are fun in addition to allowing you to respond with voice inflections and facial expressions that don't come through in text. Thanks, Cole. Thank you, Carol. And again, obviously I was wrong. I was totally wrong. I do appreciate, I thought nobody would listen to that video to the end, but obviously some of our regular viewers did, and I appreciate that so much. You have no idea. Racing 2 Cat, another great viewer of the channel, says, I'm glad you've got a team supporting your work on the channel, Cole. Funny that your vid had to be done inside this week. I was just wondering where you were going to set up once it gets to be 90 in the shade. Yeah, and again, I'm in here today, even though the weather's decent, my allergies just can't take it. I mowed grass a couple of days ago, and I've been just terrible ever since. But yeah, whenever it hits that 9 degrees in the shade, I'm going to have to get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to do these. I want to keep it outside. B-Dubs, another great viewer of the channel, says, I second the comment on Breedlove guitars. I have a friend who has one. Very nice. They all have the same distinct shape, rounded lower bout with one slope cutaway shoulder, but they do offer a variety of wood types and finishes like all brands except Gibson. They offer some affordable models, but the higher ends go for as much as $6K. Wow. Granted, they're not as well known as a dozen other makers. Cole, Bruce's closest stops near you were Atlanta and Houston. I just looked tickets for Wrigley Field, Chicago. Nosebleed started at 100. Anything better ranges? 300, 2,000. Yeah. So on the Breedlove, I mentioned this on the, I think was it the Avi video? He was playing a Breedlove. And I said I'd never heard of that brand, and B-Dubs was seconding somebody else who had explained that it was a brand. I just never heard of it, and that's maybe something I could look into there. But also on the Gibson, technically Gibson does make an affordable model with the Epiphone line. They bought Epiphone, I believe, some time ago. I can't remember my history on this. My uncle was super into guitar making history, and he used to tell me all kinds of stuff, how all that worked and what years things switched over. So technically the Epiphone by Gibson is their cheaper model. But as far as where Bruce is going, yeah, Atlanta's like 7 hours, Houston's 6, I think, or Atlanta maybe a little, I guess it's about 7 hours, Houston's 6, and the Wrigley Field Chicago nosebleeds started at $100. I don't do nosebleeds anymore. I won't say I am afraid of heights, but I will say that I am cautious about plummeting to my death from heights. And I actually went to see the Eagles in concert in New Orleans at, what is the name of that place? Smoothie King Stadium. And we were in the nosebleeds. And it was one of the worst concert experiences of my life because we were so high. And I swore never again would I pay good money to sit up that high. So, yeah, it looks like the Bruce is a no-go this year for me. On the VoicePlay Road Trip Chicken song, Candy Bonham, Bonhomme, says Jeff talks about this skit in one of his videos. He said he chose Tiptoe because Earl hated the song. That's funny. Holdra Draco says Road Trip is Jeff's brainchild. He comes up with the majority of their live skits with input from the others. Excellent. That's great info. And Lone Endeavor says, I don't know if they will ever tour again. They seem comfortable in the niche they found. That said, if I could see them live with backstage passes, I would do whatever it took to get there. Thanks, Cole. These were great. They did Grim Renting Ghost with full production value. There is also a recording of it that they did after a live show, just them standing around a desk or table backstage. I like the live version better in case you need any more ideas. I may put that one. I'm trying to kind of only do one version. But this is not, you're not the first person even on this list that has suggested the live version of that, so I may add that to the Patreon poll. Margaret Scott, another great viewer, patron, says the chicken song is an old Scout song named The Rooster, one of those silly songs sung at Scout Camp. Thanks, Cole. This reaction was hilarious. Thank you, Margaret. I appreciate that. I'm glad to know that. I did not know the origin of that song. Karina Rodebach, another great viewer of the channel, said this is what Jeff calls VoicePlay special brand of dumb. Caesar still hasn't had to do either number yet. He talked about it in a web chat, and Jeff reassured him he would get his chance to get tired of it. That's great. Jillian Drysdale, another regular viewer of the channel, says, have you seen their Phantom? Tony takes the lead in that. Yes, I did a reaction to the Phantom. It was on a double feature, Halloween double feature. One of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite VoicePlay. Tony and Rachel in that were incredible. And I also think I used a clip of that reaction in the montage I did at the beginning of the year of the 2022 reactions. Veronica Thunder says, they're hilarious. It took me ages to find out what chiclets are. Apparently an American candy chewing gum. Yes, that's funny. Thank you for this one. Tony actually isn't much featured, except he's the lead together with Rachel Potter in Phantom of the Opera, which you've already reacted to. Except from that, I think we mostly hear him in the harmonies. And that's surprising because he has such a great voice. BJ Speck, another regular viewer of the channel, says, that a new look? I kind of miss your hair. Yeah, yeah. I know, me too. Having been a hairdresser early in my life, I have to concede that it does grow back. Thanks for pulling these two songs up. They make me happy. It was during the sing-off tour. The Chicken Rooster song may still be used in campfire songs / scouting. I don't know the source. Gotcha. Yeah, I prefer my long hair. It's just too much for this Mississippi heat. And there's already been like 86-degree days already this year. I was back in March, actually, and it cooled back off, and it's warmed back up. And it'll be, at some point, it'll probably be over 100. So just had to let it go, but I hope it'll be back in the winter. Gail Force, another regular viewer of the channel, says, Big Shot is a Billy Joel song. Any others you couldn't ID? Those are all from my era. So, yeah, I think that was the only one I didn't know. And I hate to make this confession. I don't know a lot of Billy Joel. I know Piano Man, which I love. It was played on oldies radio when I was growing up. I know It's Still Rock and Roll to Me, which I like a little bit 80s. Everybody knows I'm not huge on the 80s. I know River of Dreams, which came out when I was a kid and was just played everywhere, and I love that. I didn't know it was a new song at the time. I thought this, because all we listened to were oldies, I thought this was an oldie song that I found out later. Oh no, this was new. I really, really love that song. And then We Didn't Start the Fire, which I do not care for at all. My wife's a big Billy Joel fan, and I should probably look more into his catalog. Christine Stromberg, another regular viewer of the channel, says, I think the best one showing Tony is Phantom of the Opera. Yeah. Fun note, Earl hates that song. Tiptoe Through the Tulips, just somebody mentioned that, yeah. Tiny Tim totally ruined an otherwise sweet old song for many people, yeah. I don't have a problem with the Tiny Tim version. Shirley Carr, another regular viewer of the channel, says, yes, these are the two versions of the videos that are best. VoicePlay was performing both of these before the sing-off tour. I think the guys are sick of Chicken Song. Been performing it since high school or college, but Jeff said in an interview they'd still do Road Trip because it was a hit every time. Would love to see it with Caesar in the back seat middle and Ashley Diane in the front seat with Ellie. The waitress Tony is channeling his sister Maggie. Yeah, I think somebody mentioned that on Patreon. She and Tony both sing in Quarantine the Musical on Patty Cake's channel, and I've thought about hitting the Patty Cake production channel. I just haven't done it yet. It's hilarious. Lane's daughter Doris plays Tony's daughter, and she has a blast with Uncle Tony. The best VoicePlay video to get the full impact of Tony's gorgeous voice is Phantom of the Opera. It was their first theatrical style video. You could do a threefer with 1-minute musicals, all original compositions. Stuck in Traffic, Lightbulb, Miley Cyrus, so I mentioned that. Acapella was one of their first videos on YouTube. There's a video of them performing it live in concert, and it sounds just as good, just as tight. We used to sing a G-rated version of Chicken Song at girls' camp when I was a teen. I think Road Trip was Jeff's creation. They filmed a studio version in a red convertible. No audience posted, only on their Patreon channel. Nice! This is great info. I appreciate that, Shirley. Great stuff. On the Dire Straits Brothers in Arms reaction video, Dagmar S., another regular viewer, says, Mark Knopfler is one of the best guitarists around. This song was written in 1982 about Britain's involvement in the Falkland Wars. Home Free does an awesome version of Brothers in Arms. Yeah, and I think I mentioned that on the reaction. It could have gotten cut in editing, though, and I don't remember. But I'd actually listened to the Home Free version. That's why I wanted to listen to Dire Straits. That version, my reaction to that version is not currently available on YouTube. I'm hoping we can get that cleared now that we're appealing to the Orchard and they seem to be either releasing the Home Free stuff outright or just ignoring it and we get it by default. So I hope to have that back up in a little bit. But that was one of my favorite songs by Home Free. Other hits by Dire Straits are Sultans of Swing, Money for Nothing, Romeo and Juliet, Private Investigations, Twisting by the Pool, Walk of Life, Telegraph Road, So Far Away, etc. They don't have a bad song. Excellent. Those are some great suggestions. I actually know Sultans of Swing used to play regularly on Classic Rock Radio, and I always dug Mark's voice. It reminded me of Dylan, and I actually like Dylan's voice. I know he gets a lot of hate for that, but yeah, so I'll definitely add those to our Patreon polls at some point. Racing 2 Cat. There's Cat again, says, the first time I heard this song, it was the Home Free version. Me too, Cat. Their version is so different while still retaining the somber feel, probably because I heard it first. It is the version I prefer. Agreed. However, I do appreciate the skill and talent of Knopfler and Dire Straits. Same here. I'm guessing your Home Free reaction had to be taken down for copyright reasons. Yes, but again, I hope we get that up soon, which sucks because I know you're going to get a lot of comments from folks from Meckering. You see that one? Yeah. I like your breakdown of the lyrics, Cole. Glad you decided to react the original version of this one to the original version of this one. Cat. Thank you, Cat, as always. Appreciate that. And yeah, once again, though, I hope we can get that Brothers in Arms Home Free reaction back up soon. Pam Forrester says the original and the best. I think Mark is always one of the most underrated guitar players ever. Guessing because he came along at a time when guitar was king and so many guitar gods were out there and somehow got lost. Love this song by them. That's a good observation, Pam. Love the variety you do. Keeps it interesting. Thank you, Pam. Hoping to hear something for us Pentaholics soon. Also love more from these guys. Appreciate the work you put into the video and commentary. Thank you, Pam. And yeah, I was hoping to already have a Pentatonics video up. I was going to try to pull their performance from the sing-off they sang in the finale, the season 4 finale, when Home Free won. And my commentary was basically nothing because I was just sitting there like, oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, love that. Love that. And it wasn't worth putting a reaction up because I did such a poor job commenting on it. But I tell you what I may do on, if not the next random songs poll on Patreon, which is how we're going to be choosing pretty much all of the non-VoicePlay, non-Home Free, non-Bruce Springsteen songs. I may start trying to find pentatonics that I haven't listened to before and plop it on the poll. And I'm sure it'll probably win. Mary Wright says this is a powerful song. I love both versions, and that Home Free can do an acapella version of this blows my mind. Yeah, great. Steve Q74 says Mark Knopfler worked with Bob Dylan on several albums, both playing guitar and also producing. Yeah, Mark plays on Slow Train Coming, Infidels, which he also co-produced, and Down in the Groove. Gotcha. Mark wrote this song about the Falkland Wars in 1982 between the UK and Argentina. Mark put so much emotion in his guitar here. Other great songs you might like as a songwriter are Telegraph Road, Tunnel of Love, Private Investigations, and Why Worry, which is also covered by both the Everly Brothers and Art Garfunkel. Great info, Stephen. I appreciate that. Grumash says, if you can perform Spregsong It sounds German. I'm not sure properly. It will always hit hard emotionally, and Mr. Knopfler is an exemplar. Okay, I'm not sure what that song is, but I'll take a look into it. Frankster says the guitar is so atmospheric, one of the most haunting songs I've ever heard. Yeah, really good. On the Avi 4:15 video, Annika Jacobson says this, just like the other tracks you've listened to, was on the EP Sage and Stone that he made while he was still in Pentatonics. It came out around the same time he announced he would leave the group, so the name is probably to highlight that this is something completely different from what Pentatonics does. Gotcha. I asked about that in the video, why he said why he releases Avriel and the Sequoias instead of just Avi Kaplan. I love this song so much, one of the most beautiful pieces of music ever made, somehow both simple and profound. Avi is an amazing songwriter. I hope you'll keep reacting to his music, and it would be great if you started an Avi playlist. I'm scrolling like crazy to find the ones you did before. Yeah, I haven't started one because I'm just now digging into Avi. I've done 3, Lean On Me, 4:15. I cannot remember. It was another one off that EP. It was great. I'm just drawing a blank. My brain's not functioning that great day, unfortunately. But yeah, I hope to continue reacting to Avi, and I've done that entire EP on Patreon. Coco Hall, okay, says, I just looked it up. I was pretty sure Avi was a songwriter, and yes, he is listed as the only writer. I heard an interview he did when asked about the music score on this EP, all the strings and piano. He composed and then sang the parts of the musicians until they produced the sound he wanted. Nice. Avi is a self-admitted perfectionist. Maria Williams says, I had never noticed the lights going out. Thank you for that. The song is beautiful. Yeah, it was a really good production choice on the visual. Stephanie says, I wish I could continue seeing your reaction to this ep. Unfortunately, I only watch on YouTube. Yeah, and I get that. Not everybody is on Patreon. This EP, not ep, but EP. But yeah, not everybody is on Patreon. Everybody can afford to do Patreon. I understand that. So that's why I pull these and put this on YouTube so that people can watch this stuff for free. And then those who want to pay a little extra get some bonus content. Elizabeth Ross says, I really like this side of Avi. He probably would not have had the opportunity to show off or develop these beautiful higher octaves if he'd stayed with the group. I'm so happy that you are bringing this to the fore, out of the basement, so to speak. Thank you. I appreciate that, Elizabeth. And I'm glad that I'm able to react to Avi 2. He's got some great music. Alma Petri says he said that he was considering his path forward when he made this EP. He talks about how eclectic his work is, and he does it on purpose. The reason is he can do so many things with his voice, and he wants to explore it all. He couldn't really do it at Pentatonics. He was the bass singer. He talks about it today as well. He does have co-writers, but Avi generally writes music himself. I saw him at his first solo shows, and he talked then about using his low voice as an instrument to complement the song, not as a showstopper, the way they often did in Pentatonics. If you hear his album, you will often hear that low bass used as a foundation, but not prominent. Yeah, this is intentional. Guess you can tell I'm a music nerd and love to take music apart. Absolutely. I admire Avi for his ability to compose such clear, beautiful music that seems so simple on the surface. But when you take it apart, it's stunning what he puts into a piece and what he leaves out. I cannot wait for his next releases. He said in an interview when he was doing a fundraiser that he used that name as a kind of reminder to himself and everyone else of where he came from, who he is as a singer-songwriter. He wrote and performed folk music before Pentatonics. He was 18, 19 years old. His mom used to post about him playing in coffee shops around where he was raised and about how people would pack the place to hear his work. Wow. Old videos give you a glimpse of the beginnings of the performer he is now. Pentatonics was really a curve in the road for him. I made it a point to read all his interviews, and it's pretty clear that he always wanted to be a songwriter. His sister Esther gave an interview and said that had always been his dream. It's the dream. His full album is named after. Join to hear the EP reaction. When will it post? Okay, Alma, I'm sorry if I wasn't clear on that in the video. First of all, thank you for all that information. That was great. So glad to get that history of Avi. It helps me really understand where he's coming from as a songwriter, as an artist, as a musician. As far as the EP, it's on, unless you're saying you join Patreon, I'm not sure. If you join Patreon to hear the EP reaction, it's already out. It was released, I think, week before, or I guess last week. I released on Patreon last week. So if you're a member of Patreon, it's on there. If you're waiting for it to drop on YouTube, it's going to be a Patreon exclusive. Charlotte Van says, many people think that the lights at the beginning represent the members of Pentatonics and that the lights going out represented his planned departure, but Avi has stated that that wasn't the case at all. It was just how many lights the film production crew were able to cobble together for the shoot. No hidden meaning. That's hilarious. Also, as you'll see as you react to more Avi solo work, his deep bass is often used as background and in harmonies, and Avi almost always sings all the harmonies in his recordings since he's no longer relegated to the bass line. You will still hear it, though, in songs like the Sunset Sound version of his original When I'm a Fool. In doing his own thing now, he's able to use the full spectrum of his vocal abilities, which were honed as an opera classical voice major in college. He also continues to take voice lessons to improve and strengthen his voice, particularly for touring. Wow, to think that he is still getting voice lessons. Wow, because you would think somebody that had arrived at that level, they didn't have to get voice lessons anymore. But yeah, wow, it just shows dedication right there. 5th Gen Texan says, I love that you're exploring this highly gifted and underrated singer-songwriter. His lyrics are so powerful and always have meaning. Avi respects the music and won't release anything for the sake of new releases. He has also said before that even if a friend just adds a line or makes a suggestion, he uses it in his songs. He will add their name as a co-writer. Wow! Looking forward to more Avi on your channel. Thank you, 5th Gen Texan. I appreciate that. Yeah, he's excellent and obviously a very, very gracious guy. Valencia the Queen says, Avi was still Pentatonics when he did this EP. I believe this song was his goodbye to Pentatonics. This is the last time we see the Pentatonics beanie Avi. Wow, yes, kind of a farewell. The Grim Reaper says, surely the last line, we're fools to make war on our brothers in arms. This is actually from, goes with the, apparently with the Dire Straits videos, and is in the wrong spot here on the list. Surely the last line, where fools make war on our brothers in arms, i.e. the song is not just about your own side but the futility of war in general. That's kind of what I originally thought, but I had somebody in the home free version comment that Mark actually said he specifically was saying that he considered the soldiers on the opposing side of the British side to be brothers in arms, and I get that idea and concept, but I don't consider that term, and that's not the interpretation I make of that last line either. I'm more like you. To me, it just sounds like that humans do make war, and it's going back all of human history that we make war upon each other, and that's ultimately a foolish thing to do. Shirley Moffat says there's almost no bass notes on this EP. This is back on the Avi EP. I think it was because he was aiming for a complete contrast to the bass lines he'd been seeing with Pentatonics. Avril Sequoia's name was also to make it clear this was not Pentatonics. Avi is a great songwriter, and most, if not all, of his songs have an autobiographical component to them. He still sings this one live. Thanks for that info, Shirley. Mary Wright says Avi is a gifted songwriter. I enjoy seeing him perform live too. He has an amazing body of work. I love this song. His song Aberdeen. Please make a playlist for Avi. Yeah, I'll get that up, but it's only going to be 3 right now. I'm not sure when I'm going to get any more out. Dorrit Rosenbach says, Avi, and if I mispronounce that, my apologies. Avi is a gifted songwriter. I enjoyed seeing him perform live too. He has an amazing body of work. I love his song, Aberdeen. Please make a playlist for Avi. Avi has said in an interview that he chose the name Avril and the Sequoias for his first EP as these huge trees mean a lot to him. He grew up in California, not far from them. Actually, he is an ambassador for the Sequoia Park Conservancy and has done several fundraising events for them. I believe he now performs as Avi Kaplan because people thought that Avril and the Sequoias was a band. It all got a bit confusing. His videos are always beautiful and reflect the songs. If you listen to All Is Well, the 7 Layers session, you will see just Avi and his guitar, which perfectly match the song, in my opinion. For more music build, I suggest He Don't Love You Right. It's very emotional and hauntingly beautiful, powerful lyrics. For his low register, When I'm a Fool, the Sunset Live recording, you will hear his voice go to the basement while he sings, that his pride sinks to the bottom of the sea. I love your reactions and look forward to the next one. Thank you, Dorrit. I appreciate all that info, and I will definitely check those out at some point. On our fair use video, we did a fair use tutorial video this week. Dagmar S., regular viewer, says, thank you for showing us the process involved. It was very informative, and you did it in a very calm manner. Recently, another reactor got a copyright claim on one of Home Free's songs. She put a nasty clickbait headline out. Beware, Home Free gave me a strike on my channel. She was being a total drama queen and made it sound like Home Free targeted her personally. Even after it was settled, she has refused to remove the headline. She has got a lot of views and free advertising for posting this. Needless to say, she lost a lot of Home Free fans, so appreciate your unbiased review and approach of how copyright claim works. Thanks, Dagmar. I appreciate that. Yeah, this must have been somebody I did see. I'll look at the comments on the community posts during the week, sometimes, not all the time, and this week somebody else, another commenter, mentioned apparently they didn't go into as much detail as this post did, but that somebody had done that. I don't know this reactor. I don't even know who it is. I definitely don't know this reactor personally, but they didn't say who the artist was. Now I know. Annette Corrado, Annette once again says, thanks for explaining this. I hope the appeal works out for you. I did send VoicePlay a message and contact someone on their Discord. I appreciate that, Annette, and that may have been why it got released so far, and it was really odd how it got released because it was released by a different company than the company that we had submitted the appeal to. So that was kind of weird. Pam Forrester said, well, I bet they're fun at parties. Thank you for letting us know how this works. Yeah, I bet they are. Mark once again says, thanks, Cole, for taking us through the process. I found the video interesting, a behind-the-scenes video. Thank you, Margaret. I appreciate that. And I'm hoping this may help people outside the channel who are just wondering how this works or maybe are wanting to start their own reaction channels. All right, on our home free list of the music video, this was an old video that we've had private for a long time because we were waiting to hear back from the orchard. We never did, so we finally just submitted an appeal. It got released, so it's back up. Brenda Sorensen, regular viewer, says, as fantastic as the other four are, Adam Rupp is in a league of his own. Not only does he sound like drums, he vocalizes drum beats and rhythms like a real drummer, 100%. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but his skills are of a musician. Yeah, absolutely. Good reaction. The song just naturally puts a smile on your face, 100%. I love that. Love their version of that song. On Bruce Springsteen, I'm not sure which video. The person that compiled our comments didn't put which Bruce video this was. But this is from Becky Barnes, and she says, love how you're appreciating Bruce. Yes, there are many more technically gifted musicians, but very few have the heart and songwriting capability of him, 100%. Coming from a working class family, this tune always pumped me up to go out and take on the world until it beat me down again, LOL. And again, I'm not sure which video this was on, unfortunately. Dan Waln says, I'm not sure what video this is on. Maybe home free. Something got messed up here. Their version of this may be on the home free. This may be on the home free list of the music. It says their version of Unchained Melody is very unique in that they stay true to the movie. The movie from 1955 is around the arrival of doo-wop, so to incorporate it into the song is magic to the ears. I guess they're talking about I guess this is a comment on list of music. They're talking about Home Free's version of Unchained Melody that's I also hope to be getting back up soon. On Home Free, another old video, Do You Hear What I Hear? Elizabeth Ross says, whoa, I thought I was already subscribed here. You may have been, and then you may have gotten unsubscribed. That's happened on YouTube. Don't know why. Glitch in the system, or I don't know. Some funny things go on in YouTube these days. Glad I came back for another watch listen. Every time I hear this masterpiece, I find another little spark of genius that I'd missed before. Adam certainly proves his musical skills early in this phase of Home Free's amazing rise in popularity. Your knowledge and reactions are wonderful. This one particularly so. Thank you. I appreciate that, Elizabeth. Wow, it's just about the only way to start analyzing this performance. Thank you. Subscribe now for sure. I appreciate this, Elizabeth. And you probably were subscribed and got unsubscribed. That's happened to more than one of our subscribers, and other channels have reported the same thing happened to them. Again, don't know what's going on in the YouTube back end. There's a lot of fishy things that's been happening over the last few months, year or so. All right, that's going to be it, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to continue putting these out as long as you continue watching them. And if you quit watching them, then we'll quit putting them out. But in the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. We appreciate that. I think everybody watching this probably is a regular subscriber, regular viewer, maybe even a patron. And stay tuned, and we'll see you soon.